You walk in silence down a narrow hallway deep inside the Forbidden City. The year is 1720. Imperial yellow covers the walls, but the air is thick with incense and tension. Your silk slippers glide across polished stone, your shadow trailing behind the eunuch leading the way. You are 15, chosen as one of the emperor's new concubines. The eunuch stops abruptly and turns to face you. His eyes are a chilling mix of pity and practiced detachment. He speaks in a whisper, barely louder than the distant trickle of water from the palace fountains. What he tells you is not tradition, it's survival. These aren't customs. They are invisible chains. And once they wrap around you, they never loosen. The first rule seems simple: never turn your back to the emperor, but simplicity fades in practice. When he enters, you must always face him, while moving, dressing, undressing, even during the most private moments. It's a skill passed down like a secret choreography. The older concubines move like mist, gliding sideways, never exposing their spine. What you imagine to be luxury, embroidered robes, golden hairpins, and imperial favor, dissolves in an instant. The true rules of the harem are about to unfold, and they are stranger, colder, and more brutal than anything you've been taught. This is not superstition, it's paranoia. A ruler of 300 million lives with the constant threat of betrayal. He fears poison, hidden blades, a hairpin dipped in venom. A concubine's back is a blind spot, and in a world ruled by fear, even beauty becomes a weapon. You learn by watching Min, a senior concubine who has lasted 3 years. She floats through the emperor's chambers with precision, fluid, graceful, always vigilant. When she reaches behind her, she turns in a soft arc. Her gaze never breaks from his. The second rule strips you of your voice. You must never speak unless addressed, and when you do, you refer to yourself in the third person. You are not I. You are this unworthy one, or your lowly servant. This linguistic self-erasure is more than protocol, it's psychological training. Over time, many concubines lose the ability to think of themselves as individuals, even in private. Their thoughts fracture. Their identity dissolves. The third rule targets your eyes. You must never meet the emperor's gaze during intimacy. Your stare must fall just below his chin. It isn't about deference, it's about distance. Eye contact creates intimacy. Intimacy creates danger. If he sees fear or intelligence in your eyes, he may feel something: compassion, suspicion. And if you look into his, you might see past the divine facade and recognize the man beneath. Fragile, isolated, clinging to power through control. If your eyes meet by accident, you must immediately prostrate and beg for forgiveness. Not for the act, but for the audacity of treating him as an equal. Repeat offenses don't bring death. Worse, they bring exile to the eunuch's quarters, where discarded concubines become silent warnings. The fourth rule enforces silence. During the act, you must not make a sound unless ordered to. This is not modesty, it is total domination. Any spontaneous cry suggests autonomy, a body responding without permission. That cannot be allowed. Some women learn to bite their tongues until they bleed, to hold their breath, to feel nothing. The emperor, meanwhile, feeds on control. He might spend an entire night trying to elicit a sound, not out of tenderness, but as a demonstration of power. Some women break. Their voices vanish entirely, even in solitude. They become voiceless specters, casualties of enforced silence. The fifth rule dictates timing. The emperor's climax must always come last, not for courtesy, but for order. His release symbolizes cosmic harmony. A concubine's pleasure cannot precede his divine fulfillment. This forces women to master suppression. They train themselves to monitor his arousal while curbing their own. reciting poems or solving mental equations mid-act to avoid reaching their peak. Pleasure becomes another act of discipline. The sixth rule governs the aftermath. Once it ends, the woman must remain frozen, often for hours, until dismissed. No movement, no cleansing, no comfort. Her discomfort is part of the ritual. He can dress, eat, summon others. She remains still, her vulnerability laid bare until released. A final silent reminder of who holds power. The seventh rule is rooted in fear. Pregnancy. If you suspect you are pregnant, even faintly, you must immediately report it to the chief eunuch, not to the emperor. Delay is treason. But if you're wrong, the punishment is equally severe. A public beating that leaves permanent scars. This creates a state of constant dread. Every change in appetite, every irregularity in your cycle becomes a source of paranoia. The concubines develop obsessive systems of bodily tracking, treating their own flesh as volatile terrain. Some learn to read the signs with precision. Others make fatal mistakes. Confirmed pregnancies are not celebrated, they are quarantined. You are removed from the other women, placed under surveillance, not to protect you, but to control the future heir. You are no longer a person, you are a container, nothing more. The eighth rule reveals the weaponization of jealousy. When multiple concubines are summoned together, strict hierarchies dictate their behavior. The favored one leads, others assist or observe. Occasionally, they are expected to compete, an orchestrated display designed to provoke rivalry and destroy solidarity. Friendship is dangerous, trust is fragile. One day you whisper comfort to a friend. The next, you're expected to undress her and prepare her body for the emperor's amusement. Some obey. Others weep in silence as they play roles in each other's degradation. The ninth rule demands you master emotional camouflage. You must read the emperor's moods instantly, adjusting your tone, posture, even the rhythm of your breath. Soothing if he's angry, warm but reserved if he's melancholic. Overjoyed, but never eclipsing him in happiness. It's not enough to obey, you must anticipate. The women become skilled manipulators of micro-expression, mood, and ego. Their emotional intelligence surpasses scholars and diplomats. But in becoming mirrors, they lose their own reflection. Authentic feelings atrophy. Responses become curated performances. Selfhood fades. The 10th rule fractures the mind. You must remember everything. What he said, what he touched, what pleased or displeased him. But once you exit his chamber, you must forget. Instant amnesia. The mind splits. Some develop mental filing systems, rituals for remembering, rituals for erasure. Others fail. They spiral into dissociation, living ghost lives between memory and numbness. They can't recall who they were before. They no longer know who they are now. The 11th rule ties sex to ritual. The emperor's desire follows the seasons. During harvest, you embody abundance. During winter, warmth and light. In times of war, strength and defiance. You become metaphor, symbol. You are never yourself. Costumes shift, roles rotate. 1 month, you are a goddess. The next, a soldier. Then a fertile field. You perform for heaven as much as for the emperor. And always, beneath the makeup and silk, you remain nameless. The 12th rule makes sure you're never truly alone. Certain encounters require witnesses, senior concubines, eunuchs, or officials. Not for pleasure, but for inspection. They monitor compliance, note emotional deviation, punish authenticity. You never know when you're being watched. You behave as if you always are. The gaze is everywhere. Even your silence must be rehearsed. The 13th rule governs gifts, but they are never free. Jewelry, silks, or delicacies may be offered, but each carries a hidden cost. To accept a gift is to accept a debt. one that cannot be repaid. Gratitude must be performative, exaggerated, ritualized. A reward becomes a symbol of submission, a leash made of gold. Refusing a gift is unthinkable. It's interpreted as a personal insult, a rejection of imperial grace. Accepting one marks you as a target. Other women seethe with envy. Favor is dangerous currency. The emperor uses generosity as a weapon, building hierarchies, inciting competition, destabilizing any potential unity. Kindness is never just kindness, it is always strategy. The 14th rule stretches beyond the palace walls. Your family, parents, siblings, cousins become hostages to your obedience. The threat isn't always physical. A misstep on your part could strip them of honor, status, marriage prospects. Even their future children are at risk. You are told this early. Your actions do not belong to you alone. Every smile you fake, every humiliation you endure, you do for those you left behind. The pressure doesn't ease, it compounds. Even in isolation, you are never truly alone. Their faces are always watching from behind your eyes. You mentor younger concubines, girls who will replace you. Your beauty rituals become frantic. Some use lead-based powders that scar the skin. Others starve themselves, over-exercise, or undergo painful treatments. The fear of becoming irrelevant is constant, relentless. The lucky ones die young, before they fade, before they're forgotten. The unlucky ones live to feel their worth decay in the emperor's eyes, to be seen less, summoned rarely, until you vanish entirely. The 16th rule is about death, not just your own, but his. When the emperor dies, you are given a choice: be buried with him, or live on in perpetual widowhood. It is not truly a choice. Either you become a martyr of devotion, or a living relic of a bygone era, untouchable, unfree. Preparation begins long before his death. You write farewell letters, compose poetry about your loyalty, rehearse your own funeral in silence. You learn to frame death as an honor, an escape, a duty. Some believe it, others pretend. The 17th rule is the anomaly, the one that defies the others. Resistance. Despite all the systems meant to control, some women fight back. Sometimes subtly, a defiant glance, a misaligned flower arrangement, a whispered code. Secret languages bloom, hummed melodies carry hidden meanings. Small rituals of remembrance form a network of quiet rebellion. Other acts are bolder: suicides, escape attempts, hidden pregnancies. These are desperate gambles, but even a fleeting moment of choice becomes a form of freedom. They know the risk, and still they try. Not for escape, but for dignity. The 18th rule is the most paradoxical: love. You are forbidden from feeling genuine affection for the emperor, but you are also forbidden from withholding it. You must simulate love so convincingly that it becomes indistinguishable from truth. Yet you must maintain enough emotional distance to survive rejection, neglect, or replacement. This balance is impossible. Some women fall into real love, and it destroys them. They mistake a rare, kind word for care, a gesture for intimacy. When that illusion shatters, they collapse. Others build walls so thick they forget how to feel. Their detachment protects them, but at a cost. They become hollow, incapable of warmth, incapable of trust. A rare few master the performance, a perfect illusion of passion without vulnerability. But even these women pay the price. They lose track of their own emotions, unsure where the act ends and they begin. Their sanity becomes collateral damage in the theater of imperial affection. The 19th rule arrives with death, but not your own. When the emperor dies, you become dangerous. You know too much. You've seen too much. You are a living archive of the previous reign. For the new emperor, you are a liability. Some are exiled to distant temples, forced into monastic silence. Others vanish quietly, no record, no ceremony. A few are left alive but demoted to the lowest ranks, their presence a warning to younger women about the cost of impermanence. Whatever path awaits, one truth remains. Your worth was always conditional. And now, with his death, you are stripped of even the illusion of relevance. The 20th and final rule is the cruelest. Forget. To survive, you must erase every humiliation, every rule, every twisted act of obedience. You must become a blank slate, ready to serve another purpose, bear another name, follow a new emperor. But forgetting is not cleansing. The memories remain, buried in your body, surfacing in dreams, in breathless panic, in the inability to touch or be touched. You carry the weight of unspoken trauma. You smile, walk, obey. But you are no longer whole. You are a collection of scars, trained to disappear even as you move through the world. And yet, you remain. You have survived, not by remembering who you are, but by forgetting that you were ever human at all. Years have passed. You stand once again in the same candlelit corridor where your story began. But now, you are no longer the frightened girl. You are the one who speaks. Before you stands another 15-year-old, eyes wide with hope, dressed in embroidered silk, unaware that she is walking into a labyrinth of control and illusion. She believes she's been chosen for luxury, for honor. You know better. You were her once. You begin to speak, not out of kindness, but out of duty. The rules must be passed down, one voice at a time. The chains are invisible, but they are built from repetition. You are no longer just a survivor. You are now the keeper of the system, the mouthpiece of its memory. As your voice echoes down the corridor, something shifts within you. You realize you have become the very machinery that once terrified you. The one who whispers the rules is not free. She is bound more tightly than anyone. And yet, she survives. That is the paradox of power in this place. To live, you must become what once oppressed you. You have mastered the art of disappearance. You know how to move without being seen, to feel without expression, to endure without protest. You have become a shadow with perfect posture, a vessel that mimics devotion while hiding emptiness. And though the emperor who once owned your name is long dead, replaced by his son and then his grandson, the rules persist. They survive not because they are written, but because they are remembered, whispered, enforced by those who learned the hard way. You were not meant to last, you were meant to be forgotten. But here you are, a living relic of a system designed to erase you. And so you speak, not because you want to, but because silence in this place has never meant safety. Your words form another link in the chain, another echo in a chamber where water still trickles from ornamental fountains, just as it did the night you arrived. You look into the girl's face and you know, she does not yet understand. She will. The cycle continues. The rules never change, only the faces. The 15th rule is the most inevitable, aging. As you grow older, you must remain desirable, but never desperate. Age must not show, but desperation must not be visible either. A delicate dance between relevance and invisibility.